Who do you think is the richest American in history? It's a question that might ignite our imagination, conjuring images of sprawling estates, gleaming skyscrapers, and unimaginable luxury. But wealth, you see, is more than just a symbol of personal success. It's a reflection of the times, the economy, and the society in which it's amassed. Throughout history, the concept of wealth has evolved and adapted, just as much as the individuals who've pursued it. The wealthiest Americans, names like Rockefeller, Carnegie, Gates, have not only amassed great fortunes, but they've also shaped the world in which we live. But how do we measure their wealth? Is it simply a matter of tallying up their assets and adjusting for inflation? Or do we also consider their wealth as a share of the economy during their lifetime? These are the questions we'll explore as we delve into the history of American wealth. From the early pioneers of commerce to the titans of the digital age, we'll look at how wealth has been defined, earned, and used over the centuries. So, ready to embark on this journey? Let's dive into the history of American wealth, starting from the very beginning. To understand the wealth of the richest Americans, we must first travel back to the 18th century. As the United States took its first steps as a new nation, wealth was not as we know it today. It was a time of landowners and merchants, where wealth was often measured in acreage and commodities. However, the seeds of the vast fortunes that would come to define American wealth were already being sown. In the late 1700s, America was a land brimming with opportunities. The country was expanding, and with it, the potential for immense wealth. The first individual to truly seize this opportunity was John Jacob Astor IV. Astor, a German immigrant who arrived in America after the Revolutionary War, began his journey to riches as a humble fur trader. But he had an eye for opportunity and a knack for business that set him apart. Astor capitalized on the lucrative fur trade, establishing the American Fur Company in 1808. His business empire eventually extended beyond fur as he astutely invested in New York City real estate. By the time of his death in 1848, Astor was not just wealthy, he was America's first multimillionaire. His fortune, amassed through fur and real estate, was estimated at $20 million, an astronomical sum at the time. But Astor was just the beginning. His story of rags to riches was a harbinger of what was to come. The 18th century laid the groundwork for the wealth that would explode in the following century. The American dream, the belief that anyone could achieve wealth through hard work and determination, was born during this period. Astor's success story set the stage for the rise of other self-made millionaires as America began to industrialize. The vast wealth of today's billionaires can trace its roots back to these early days of American capitalism. The rise of industrialization in the 19th century led to an even greater accumulation of wealth. As the United States industrialized, wealth concentrated in the hands of a few. A statement that rings true when we look at the Age of Industrialization, a time when the landscape of America's wealth underwent a dramatic transformation. This era gave birth to the titans of industry, the likes of which the world had never seen before. Among these towering figures, two names stand out: John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie. They were not just wealthy, they were the embodiment of wealth itself, their fortunes beyond comprehension, their influence spanning entire industries. John D. Rockefeller, often considered the richest American in history, was a pioneering force in the oil industry. He founded Standard Oil in the late 19th century, and his empire grew to control a staggering 90% of all oil refineries in the United States. When we adjust for inflation, Rockefeller's fortune is estimated to be over $410 billion, a sum so vast it's difficult to wrap our minds around it. Then there's Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate who came from humble beginnings. Born in Scotland, Carnegie immigrated to the United States as a child. He started with a job in a bobbin factory, but his relentless ambition and business acumen led him to build Carnegie Steel, a company that would revolutionize the American steel industry. His wealth, though not as colossal as Rockefeller's, was still immense, earning him a spot among the richest Americans in history. These industrialists didn't just amass wealth, they shaped the economic fabric of America. Their companies became the backbone of the American economy. Their business strategies became the blueprint for success, and their philanthropic efforts set a precedent for future generations of the wealthy. The 20th century brought new industries, and with them, new moguls. But the influence of these industrial age titans still resonates today, reminding us of a time when wealth was not just about numbers, but about the power to change the world. The 20th century saw the rise of new industries and new sources of wealth. This was a time when the world was rapidly changing, and those who were able to adapt and innovate found themselves gaining immense wealth. Let's take a look at some of the individuals who made a mark in this era. Henry Ford, a name synonymous with the automobile industry, is one such figure. The founder of the Ford Motor Company, Ford revolutionized not just his industry, but the entire manufacturing sector with the introduction of assembly line production. His innovations led to mass production of affordable cars, transforming the automobile from a luxury item to something within the reach of the common man. This in turn led to Ford amassing a considerable fortune. Then we have the DuPont family. Now, if you're thinking of paint, you're on the right track. The DuPonts were instrumental in the growth of the chemical industry in the 20th century. Their company, founded in the 19th century, diversified into producing a wide range of chemical-based products from paints to plastics and even gunpowder. Their innovations and domination of the chemical market led to the accumulation of significant wealth, making them one of the richest families of the 20th century. But the 20th century wasn't just about industrial wealth. As we move towards the latter part of the century, we see a shift in wealth accumulation. The rise of the technology industry began to reshape the landscape of wealth. Individuals like Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, became the new faces of immense wealth. Gates, whose software innovations transformed personal computing, became one of the richest people in the world. The 20th century was a time of tremendous change and innovation. It was a period when new industries rose to prominence, and with them, new sources of wealth. It was a time when the world saw the rise of the automobile industry, the expansion of the chemical industry, and the birth of the technology industry. These developments led to the creation of immense wealth for those at the forefront of these industries. As we moved into the 21st century, a new kind of wealth emerged, but that's a story for another time. For now, let's marvel at the ingenuity and entrepreneurship that marked the 20th century, a time of extraordinary wealth creation. In the 21st century, technology has become the main source of unimaginable wealth. As we traverse through time, we see a significant shift from the era of industrial tycoons to the reign of tech billionaires. These modern magnates are the new kings, ruling over an empire not of steel and oil, but of software and silicon. Among the pantheon of these tech titans, one name stands out: Bill Gates. Co-founder of the tech giant Microsoft, Gates has been an epitome of the technological revolution that has reshaped the world and our very definition of wealth. His journey from a Harvard dropout to becoming one of the wealthiest individuals in history is a testament to the power of innovation and entrepreneurship. In the past, fortunes were built on tangible assets: oil, steel, railroads. But Gates and others like him have amassed their wealth in the intangible realm of ones and zeros. They have created empires in the digital world, harnessing the power of technology to transform industries and influence the lives of billions around the globe. Yet, it's not just about the money. Gates, like the philanthropic industrialists of yore, has dedicated a significant portion of his wealth to charitable causes. Through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, he has made impactful contributions to global health, education, and poverty reduction. In a way, he represents a new kind of wealth, one that is not just about accumulation, but also about giving back. Our exploration of wealth brings us to the present day, where technology has become the new gold rush. The fortunes of today might be digital, but they are as real as the steel mills and oil wells of the past. As we look ahead, we can only imagine what new forms of wealth the future may bring. Wealth has always been a part of American history, changing and growing with the times. It has evolved from the tangible to the intangible, the physical to the digital. As we move forward, this evolution continues, forever shaping the landscape of wealth in America. From John Jacob Astor IV to Bill Gates, the face of American wealth has changed dramatically over the centuries. We've journeyed through the pages of history, seeing the rise and fall of fortunes, and the individuals who've left an indelible mark on the American economic landscape. In the early years, we saw the likes of Astor and Vanderbilt, whose wealth was built on fur trading and railroads. Then came the Age of Industrialization, where figures like Rockefeller and Carnegie emerged, amassing fortunes in oil and steel. The 20th century introduced us to the likes of Ford and the Waltons, whose wealth stemmed from the automotive industry and retail giants. And in our modern era, we see a shift from traditional industries to technology, with Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos leading the pack. The faces of wealth have changed, but the drive for innovation and success has remained a constant thread. It's a testament to the evolving nature of wealth and the endless opportunities that lie in the American dream. Who will be the next to join the ranks of the richest Americans in history? Only time will tell.